So we're 3 seasons deep into The Expanse. How did it all begin? If we look back to season 1, it all really started with the mystery of Julie Mao. So Miller was a detective based on series, and he was trying to figure out just what happened to Julie. Now, what did happen to Julie? We find out that her dad was part of this shadowy Earth-based organization that was developing a bioweapon in secret out on Phoebe Research Station. Now, they had a plot. They were going to launch the Anubis at Eros, carrying this bioweapon and test it on the population there. Now, Julie got wind of this. She didn't like it at all. She went to talk to Fred Johnson of the OPA out on Tico Station and told him about this plan. Now, he told her, take the Scopuli, head off the Anubis, and that's exactly what she did. Now, the Anubis, being a superior ship, captured her, captured the crew, and at this point, they hatched another scheme, and they said, look, this is a great opportunity for us to stoke conflict between the different factions, and we're going to send out a fake distress signal. So the Anubis activates its stealth, we get this fake distress beacon, and the distress beacon is picked up by the Cant. Now, on board the Cant, we get all these major characters, Alex, Naomi, Amos, and Holden. And Holden's one of the first people to really push to respond to this distress signal. We get our first taste of Holden being a hero. Now, all these major characters, they go to investigate, and while they're investigating, their ship, the Cant, is blown up by the Anubis. Now, the surviving members of the Cant, they link up with another ship called the Donager. Now, the Donager gets destroyed by the Anubis as well. Eventually, Julie, she's able to escape the Anubis, and she actually makes her way to Eros. Now, remember, that's the original destination of the Anubis, and ironically, she was infected by the bioweapon, and she actually infects Eros with the weapon, exactly what she was trying to prevent. Now, eventually, Miller does start to figure out what's going on. He tracks down Julie, so he goes to Eros and tracks her down at the hotel room she arrived at. Also, the surviving members of the Cant, and now also the Donager, Alex, Amos, Holden, Naomi, they also are on a similar path, so all roads lead to Eros, and this is where everybody meets up. So as I mentioned, Eros is now infected, and to make matters worse, it's now hurtling itself towards Earth. Now, a few methods are tried to head it off. Nothing seems to be working. Miller decides to kind of sacrifice himself. He goes to Eros and finds the source of this motion path to Earth. It's actually Julie. Remember, she's from Earth. She's very pro-Belter, but she's actually originally from Earth. Now, she was just trying to go home, and in doing so, she was steering this toxic asteroid towards Earth. Miller manages to kind of mind meld with her and steer so it narrowly misses Earth, and eventually it arrives at Venus. And we get this nice through line. We see Miller, who was originally a Belter, who wasn't down with the cause, was very selfish, being inspired by Julie Mao and her heroism, being an Earther who sacrificed herself for the belt. He finds it in himself to sacrifice himself for others. So nice through line. Now, we're midway through season 2 now. Some major threads we see this failed scout mission to investigate what happened to Eros going out towards Venus. We know how that ends up. We also see this little tit for tat where Mars, in retaliation for all the shenanigans that have happened, they destroy Phoebe Research Station. Now, Earth is not happy about that at all, so they destroy one of Mars's moons, Deimos, in retaliation. Now, most of the action towards the end of season 2 is around Jupiter's moons. Now, one of Jupiter's moons, Ganymede, massive moon, the breadbasket of the solar system. Bobbie Draper, now she's a Martian Marine. She gets sent to Ganymede for what she pejoratively calls farm patrol. Now, when she arrives there, things go haywire, and a big part of season 2 is finding out the mystery of just what happened at Ganymede. Now, in all this chaos and commotion, kids get taken and they get stolen from Ganymede to another one of Jupiter's moons called Io. Now, the crew of the Roci, Alex, Amos, Holden, Naomi, they eventually make their way to Ganymede as well. Now, they meet Prax, who his daughter was taken. They're trying to help him. He's a botanist from Ganymede. They're trying to help him find his daughter. They're also trying to help some of the people that have been affected by the carnage on Ganymede, and there's some conflict between them. There's also some conflict between the Belters and the OPA. There's this power struggle between Fred Johnson and Anderson Dawes. Now remember, these kids have been taken to Io by the same people that wanted to test the bioweapon on Eros. They've got a new plan. They're calling it Project Caliban. What they're gonna do is they're gonna merge the bioweapon with these kids and create these hybrids. Now, Bobbie on Earth, after answering questions about what happened on Ganymede, she becomes friends, forms this alliance with Christian. They eventually go to negotiations on board Mao's luxury ship. Now, the negotiations go south, the ship is destroyed, and Bobbie and Christian escape on the Razorback, and they eventually link up with the crew of the Roci, and this is where they all meet for the first time. Now, Christian's bodyguard, he also survives. Now, he gets picked up by the Agatha King. Now, the Agatha King becomes this kind of militant, anti-Martian Earther force that even the people in charge on Earth can't control. Seems to be a reoccurring pattern. Now, everyone eventually finds their way to Io, and this is where the big battle of Io takes place. Now, this battle ends mostly well. Ehrenreit's exposed, Bobbie kicks some hybrid ass. Eventually, we flash forward 3 months later. I'm sure everyone's been following the last couple episodes, but this should give you a better idea of a few major characters that we haven't seen in a while, especially Miller, because now we've seen the resurgence of Miller. Is he a ghost? Is he hallucination? I don't know, but going back, we can now remember kind of where he came from, why he's such an important character to the Expanse, and hopefully get everyone prepped for the finale.